In a quiet corner of Seattle, a young Bill Gates spent countless nights alone, staring at the glowing lines of computer code that danced on his screen. While other teenagers were out playing basketball or gossiping after school, Gates found comfort in logic and binary patterns, a world that never misunderstood him. But what few people realize is that his brilliance came with an invisible cost: isolation. From his early days at Lakeside School, Bill stood apart, not because he wanted to, but because his mind operated on a frequency that few could tune into. Teachers admired him, classmates respected him, but deep down, he was a boy lost in the labyrinth of his own thoughts. Intelligence for him was both a gift and a cage. It allowed him to dream beyond limits, but kept him from blending in. People often talk about how geniuses change the world, but rarely about how lonely that world feels when no one truly understands your vision. While others laughed at small jokes and chatted about school dances, Gates pondered the logic of machines, the potential of algorithms, and the idea of a digital future that didn't exist yet. That loneliness wasn't sadness, it was a quiet distance, like standing on a mountain peak where the air is too thin for company. As Gates entered Harvard, that invisible wall around him grew even thicker. Surrounded by brilliant minds, he still felt apart, his thoughts racing faster, deeper, and in directions most people never considered. He wasn't just studying, he was seeing the future before it arrived. While his peers memorized textbooks, Gates was building an empire in his mind. Late nights in the dorm room, with the sound of typewriter keys echoing softly, became his new normal. Yet, amidst all this genius, there was silence. People admired him but rarely connected with him on an emotional level. Conversations revolved around ideas, not feelings. It's a common truth among highly intelligent people. The higher the intellect, the narrower the circle of emotional resonance. Gates understood logic better than laughter, precision better than passion. When he dropped out to form Microsoft, it wasn't just a leap of faith, it was an act of solitude. He chose the uncertain company of dreams over the comfortable companionship of people. The world called it courage, but inside it was a lonely march toward destiny. Even Paul Allen, his close friend and co-founder, could sense that distance. The sense that Bill was present physically, but always somewhere else mentally, lost in the architecture of his own brilliance. With Microsoft's rise came success, power, and wealth, but also deeper isolation. The irony of success is that it often separates you further from those you once knew. Meetings replaced friendships, strategy replaced storytelling, and every word he spoke carried weight. Gates was surrounded by people, yet emotionally alone. His intelligence demanded control, precision, and vision, but it also made vulnerability feel like weakness. Psychologists say that highly intelligent people often experience existential loneliness, a feeling that no one truly sees the world the way they do. For Gates, that loneliness became a constant shadow. He could design systems that connected millions through computers, yet he himself struggled to connect with the world beyond data. During those years, he found solace not in parties or fame, but in books, thousands of them, where he could silently converse with other great minds. That became his way of escaping isolation, by visiting the thoughts of others who once felt the same. The quiet moments, like sitting by the lake with a book or walking alone through his office corridors, were his most human moments. He wasn't lonely because he lacked people. He was lonely because few could understand the depth of his inner world. As time passed and Gates transitioned from tech visionary to philanthropist, something shifted. He began to realize that intelligence without empathy builds walls, not bridges. His work with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation exposed him to real, human suffering, poverty, and inequality, things that couldn't be solved with equations or algorithms. Through helping others, he rediscovered connection. The isolation that once defined his life slowly turned into reflection. He started listening more, understanding that human intelligence is incomplete without emotional intelligence. The psychological burden of brilliance had once kept him alone, but compassion became his way out. In interviews, Gates often speaks calmly, with a quiet humility that contrasts his youthful intensity. Perhaps he learned that being smart isn't about always being right, but about being wise enough to care. The loneliness of his younger years shaped him, teaching him that solitude can build innovation, but connection sustains purpose. Even now, when he reads or reflects in silence, that loneliness remains, but not as pain anymore. It has become a space for thought, a reminder that the price of seeing further than others is often walking alone. Yet, through that journey, Bill Gates turned isolation into impact. A story that shows the world that even the smartest minds crave something simple and universal: understanding.